Can you hear it loud and clear? Oh no.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, boys and girls, to GM32, the hockey podcast. I'm Vito Scaringi.
I'm Carson Johnstone.
And we're here with a special guest, number 66 on the ice and number 1 in your hearts, Jarrod Maidens. How you doing, brother?
Good, buddy. Thanks for having me, boys.
Thanks for coming on, brother. How you doing, man?
Good.
Beautiful.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. We got a good one tonight, boy. We got a lot of stories for us, hey, kid?
I'll try to pull some out. Not too many, but we'll see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
There's another one for the Leafs, by the way. There you go.
No. That's their first one.
Oh, that's their first one.
It's replay.
Oh, replay.
Yeah, we're in intermission here. I'm excited to talk about just growing up in your career because played against you in house league way back. Growing up together in the same city and that, but watching you play and everything and just seeing it all happen. But let's hear it from you. Growing up, what hockey meant to you and everything. I'm excited about that.
Yeah. No, I grew up into a crazy hockey family, so I don't think I had a choice as far as what sport I was going to play. But I mean, I latched on to it pretty quick. I think 3 years old you're in skates already, and 5 years old you're playing in, like you said, house leagues, or I think I was the Mighty Ducks the 1 year for St. Catherine's team, and barely struggling to try and at least stay on my feet and score a goal. But from there it went well. I mean, kept pushing through with it. Eventually knew I had something, some kind of gifts with it to really try and go forward with it, and I just kept putting in the work, and then played in Niagara Falls, went out to Toronto a bit, which we can talk about more and stuff with the journey, and then some other teams. But I mean, I don't have any regrets with anything, even though how things worked out. I mean, I'm grateful for all the people in my life. I mean, you hear the saying about hockey's a small world, small community, and you get to know a lot of great people. So yeah, it's been a cool journey.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. Well, let's kind of dive right into it, mates. Yeah. So me and you go way back. We kind of kicked it off way back when, winning some tyke championships and whatnot. So let's get back then. What made you pick up a stick? I know you said you were born into a hockey family. I know your father, big hockey guy, great guy, always kind of pushed you. So let's go. When you picked up a stick here, how'd it go?
It went pretty good. I mean, there's we have a funny video. I don't even know if we still have it, but I remember my dad would say, like, he shoots, he scores, and you throw up the arms like you're a little kid. You barely know what you're doing, but you knew how to celebrate. So I mean, from there, I think we kind of knew that was my sport, and like I said, I loved everything about it. I mean, the team environment side of it, the competitiveness. I mean, as a kid like us, we have too much energy, and we got that competitive spirit. Nothing better than playing a game of hockey and taking it out on the aggression out on the ice there. But
no doubt.
yeah. I mean, that's kind of that, and then once the ball gets rolling, I mean, everything just kind of falls into place. But yeah, that's kind of my
absolutely. So you started in minor hockey. You played Niagara Falls for a bit, and then you ended up making the jump up to you jumped up in age.
Yep.
Still, right?
Yeah. That's right.
How old were you?
That was up around, I think, 11, 12. So I'm kind of outdating myself a bit here. It's a little while, but I think around there. Yeah. So I went up a year, and it was awesome. It was really fun. It was tough, a lot tougher, even especially when you're at that age, making that jump for 1 year, the development and the strength in kids. So I remember being a little timid and scared at first, but I mean, like anything, once you kind of do something and you grow your confidence, I mean, it just, in the end, it's really good for you. So. It was a good time.
Absolutely. Yeah. You had a pretty good year too. I remember I had a few buddies on that team. We all do. Troy McLean. I believe you played online with him for a bit. He told me to bring it up, and you helped put home a couple goals, and he's very thankful about that.
He's my bodyguard.
I believe it. Yeah. And you guys had a pretty good run that year, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, we played. Halton Hurricanes were a pretty good team. Some other ones out that way, closer to Toronto. I mean, their population and stuff compared to ours, I mean, it's tough to compete, at least now that we've had the amalgamation of certain cities here, which makes it more competitive and nice.
Yeah.
But back then we had all the small kind of areas, which, tough for competition. But we had a good group of guys that went and played OHL, like McLeod, right? Clowder. Dio had a good run.
Foy's on that team too?
Foyzy, yeah.
Foyzy too? Yeah.
I was away that year.
Yeah.
You weren't there, eh?
Yeah. I was in Welland.
Yeah.
Oh, so you guys were playing against each other?
Yeah, I played against them.
How was that?
Yeah. Oh man, terrible.
I agree.
Yeah, I was always playing against this guy is terrible.
No fun. I got a great story for later, but anyways.
Maybe the baseball story later. No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding. That one.
When you played ball, no,
we won't bring it up.
What one?
No, I'm just kidding. Remember when you guys struck out that one time?
Did I yak? What did I do?
Threw the gloves off and.
Did I?
Oh, that was amazing.
Oh,
we'll
probably.
save that for a personal.
No, we can bring it
No,
in. Fine. I don't
no,
care. That's
maybe.
hilarious,
We'll
dude.
switch
I
over.
love I used to launch my bat and shit. It's amazing.
God.
Oh, God.
We gotta talk. We'll talk about that after we have some extra time.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, but no, yeah. So that's awesome. And then you know, you guys had a great team, and that you guys look good. And we knew from the beginning you were putting up 12, 13 goals against fucking Pelham and shit. And it was amazing. And we were smashing Grey Bruce 23.
I was just gonna say Grey Bruce, 28-1 or whatever.
Yeah, it's amazing. But then you ended up playing for Owen Sound.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So you made the jump. So after that, you ended up going to the GTHL.
Yep.
Correct. 2
Yep.
years. And how was that? How was that jump now? Because you made the jump to upper, and you kind of explained how it was. Now, how was it coming back down, but into that
What's
hockey
the difference, I
hockey
guess?
environment? You know what I mean? Like you saying those Toronto teams got way more population and whatnot, way
Yeah.
more to choose from. How was that?
Well, if we can just clarify, I guess, for some of the listeners, just what's the difference, I guess, because there's SCTA, there's Alliance, there's all these different AAA loops, but the GTHL is kind of the one where people like say, you know, that's where we want to play, right? It's run differently, so I guess maybe explain the differences.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, back then you had guys getting paid for coaching, right? So I mean, there's
Yeah.
some incentive with that as far as like how much time they're putting in and quality. I mean, it's just a little bit. I think the way Niagara's doing it in other places around here is catching up, which is nice, and they're getting more into the development side of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I remember as a young kid, I mean, you're in a weight room, doing lifts and weights, and like I didn't even know how to do those things, and you're doing skill development, and I mean. Just it was really neat, and obviously like you said, the population is tough to compete with those areas, especially when they have freedom to go to whatever teams they want and kind of try to stack certain teams. But I mean, the exposure was amazing. That's how I got connected with my agency, is actually when I moved up there. So that was nice, and just I mean, it's the guys are crazy. You see McDavid's and all these guys coming from the Marlies.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat to just be in that. Don Cherry. I mean, I remember one of my games, he's shaking our hands before we went out and played, and it's like you're talking to Cherry, and he's just.
That's
laughing
insane.
and
I remember
it was really
too, like playing, coming from the outside looking in, right? Like, obviously you moved into that league, but I remember just going up and playing tournaments against those teams and like having kind of like the GTHL atmosphere at those tournaments, and just really different, amazing, really. Like just as a kid, it just feels like professionalism as a child. You know what I mean?
For sure. Yeah. You're jumping right into it, and I mean, it's not fun paying to get into your your own games every time. That was interesting.
Come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
$5
insane.
for your, and then your parents paying. But
You got to pay to get in.
Yeah, I
That's
walked past the person kind of laughing. I'm like, that's funny, and they actually stopped me. Like, no, like you actually have to pay to get in your own game. So I mean, that's
crazy.
That's a
I
little weird.
actually was unaware of that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
So,
That's funny.
But you definitely that definitely playing with those guys definitely prepared you kind of mentally. Would you say?
Yeah.
And physically.
Yeah. I mean, I still had a lot to learn when I went to the junior level. Like when we get onto that point,
Yeah.
I'll elaborate. But I learned a lot of good stuff as far as work ethic and all that. I mean, you pick up things wherever you go. I mean, no matter the circumstance, you can take a lot of good things from it. And I mean, Niagara had some awesome stuff. Junior, before I went to junior, so a lot of.
Yeah, so you went away to the GTHL, and then you actually, for your draft year, I should say, you came back and played for Hamilton, right, in the SCTA?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So what was that decision like? Because you went away, and obviously you said you enjoy your time in the GTHL for what it did for you, but what was that decision like coming back to Hamilton?
Yeah, I mean, you're a young kid going to the GTHL. I mean, I think I had a bill up there as well, like 12, 13-year-olds homeschooling just to play up there and doing these things. So it's like, we got one more year before you go and play OHL, where you're actually going to be moved out for good. I mean, where are you going to go? Sudbury, you could go somewhere, 8 hours away, 7 hours away. So my parents were like, why don't you come back closer to us and actually get a year together, and then have fun with it, enjoy it. Obviously, you're still trying to compete the best you can, but then we'll send you off after the OHL draft happens, and just, So that's kind of what made us come back closer to home a bit, and had some friends that were already playing on the team. So,
You guys are pretty good, eh?
What's that?
You guys are a good team.
Yeah,
eh?
I think we had eight drafted guys.
Let's not talk about that. Okay,
There were some battles against. I felt bad playing
as
the
Niagara Falls. What?
Sore spot for Vito.
As Niagara Falls coming in, it wasn't. I had a couple battles with those guys. I did fight one of them
Actually,
guys.
you dropped with
Coop. With Coop. That was a battle. That's the one who said he dented my cage. This guy's a sicko.
The Stanford Arena.
Sicko.
Vito's punching his cage like 5 times.
Coop was punching my cage. He dented my cage. I'll take the dub though. But,
you were shoes to him.
But no, that was you guys were funny. I got a funny story, and like it just kind of like I'm not pumping your tires, but kind of pumped. It kind of shows like the kind of hockey player you are. You battled, man. Like you worked, and like so we had a game in Hamilton. and I don't know who it was. Might have been Sammy Q. Might have been one of the big boys, Greco.
Q.
Kind of gave you a little push, and you were falling over and repped one cheese, just like fall. And I was like, man, this guy knows what he's doing out here, and just head over heels, stronger than us, bigger than us, but like his work ethic was just there. It's not talent's God given, but work ethic's not. And what you had was something special, and definitely you had a good run. So and then you ended up going to the OHL draft, and you ended up going 4th overall.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
To Owen Sound.
Yep.
And
Yep.
how was that for you? How was showing up there? What was the experience like?
Yeah, I mean, it was really cool process, a bit scary. You know, you don't know where you're gonna.
Can I cut you off?
Yeah.
You went top 5 picks to the OHL. That does not happen. You know what I
No.
mean? For a lot of people, like that's real special, man. That is. And like, what was that like? Because coming in there, that must have been amazing, really. Like, I mean, not to squash your question either. It's the same thing. But you know, I just want to really outline that. Like, that's pretty amazing to be picked that high in the draft.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a huge honor to be able to go that high. I mean, even in the moment, I don't think you realize how important that is or the accomplishment when you're a young kid. You're just kind of going through the motions and taking things for granted. It's when you get older in life and you look back on it, you're like, holy smokes, like I wish I just soaked it up more and enjoyed it. But I mean, yeah, it was an awesome time. I remember just doing interviews and being scared out of my mind. Like, you know, I'm a kid that did not like public speaking. You remember those speeches you had to do in school?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I would win, and they're like, you can go to the gym and say yours. I'm like, not a chance.
No,
So
I
I hated that stuff. So just the interview process, and like you'd have, I'm trying to think of his name. He was the big GM for the Belleville Bulls there for a while. But he came to the house and actually interviewed, and I remember like just being so scared out of my mind and just trying to like, not say one little wrong thing. But
Keep your composure.
yeah. Or like he just, I don't know. It is what it is. But it was neat. And then the day before, like I didn't know where I was gonna go, and then Owen Sound called me, and they're like, hey, listen, like everyone knows who they're taking. We want to let you know that we're taking you 4th. And so we went up there and actually were there draft day, which is cool.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, to be there.
That's insane.
Yeah,
I
very
got
cool.
chills right now.
Yeah.
Not many people get to experience that.
Yeah.
And that's great for you, man. Congratulations on that.
Yeah.
And we always
Thank you.
rooted for you. So you end up going into camp that year. How was that feeling like? Were you confident going in?
You know what? I was not confident, and it sounds bad saying that now, like, because I can admit it, I'm not playing anymore. But I mean, now that we run, Carson and Vito, you guys do stuff as well with trying to give it back to the younger kids and talk to them about confidence. I mean, here I was, a guy that went that high, and I still realize now how low my confidence was in ways where you can still hide it, but just going in there, I wish I had a better mindset of like, you know what, these guys are just like me. Yeah, they're a bit older, like, but you can go in there and you can make an impact. And I still was able to get away with it, but my confidence, you're worried, right? You're a 15, 16-year-old kid. You got 20, 21-year-old guys. So I guess you do have a right to be a bit fearful and scared, not knowing what you're getting into.
Of course.
But I mean, it was cool once you kind of get your feet wet and like you said, you realize that you can do something and you can skate with them. I mean, you just keep flourishing from there and just keep working on your game. And so I mean, it was an experience. Yeah.
Did you find that you had to work pretty hard to like gain your confidence, or was it kind of just like as you settled in you felt more confident, or did you find that it was like a tough process to actually gain your confidence?
I think it was at first it started to come pretty good. I mean, anyone who kind of like plays at the level, they know that you have guys that are in the NHL level. They're actually at tryouts.
Yeah.
So you're playing for your team and you're like, wow, I'm getting a ton of ice and I'm doing well. And then they came back from their NHL tryouts and it's like, okay, now you're on the 4th line.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think I had my rookie year, I had 7 points in 8 games to start the year.
Yep.
And I was like playing well, and all of a sudden Joey Hishin, Garrett Wilson, all these guys, because there's a bunch of others come back down, and it's like, okay, you're playing 4th line, you're not playing power play anymore. So, I mean, those things start wearing on you, and you're like, you start questioning your ability, and I mean, confidence is huge, and I started to see myself lose that a bit when you're not playing much and you're going out cold. So, but yeah, it is what it is. You're a rookie. You have to have a different mindset, and I wish I could. I'd love to speak into kids' lives now and just say, hey, prepare them for what's going to come when you're a rookie going into the OHL or junior level.
Would you say now just like trust the process and like and stay confident no matter what, like, because obviously, well, you say you start to question yourself, right?
Yeah.
And your confidence takes a toll. But would you say that it's kind of like just put it on the back burner because be confident in your abilities and just work hard, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just take it that way rather than take it personally.
Yeah, I think that's the problem, right? I took a lot of stuff personally, and I'd overthink things too much, where I think you kind of have to have that tough mentality where you put it on the back burner a bit, and you say, you know what, I'm going to, go as hard as I can and give it everything, and the way the cards fall is kind of, what it's going to be. If you're good enough to play, then you're going to be good enough to play. If not, then, you just keep putting in the work, and I mean, you're 15, 16-year-olds, you still got a lot of development to go anyway. But I just wish I went in with a better mindset, like, you know what, I'm the rookie now, I got to, just know that I'm the lower guy on the totem pole. And there you go. Now you can
Jimmy
say,
VC again with one. There he
you can say
is.
the Leafs
We
scored.
got the Leaf game on.
The Leaf game on, yeah. Sorry to cut you off there,
second
mate.
Barry.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But no,
2-0. But yeah, you know what? And just go in with a rookie mindset, knowing that, you're going to have to pay your dues and work your way up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I completely agree with that statement too, man. Like you coming in, you have no idea. These guys have earned their stripes. These 20-year-olds have earned their stripes. They've been there for a while. And, you know what I mean? They've and that's the I might be biased, might not. I really believe that the OHL is one of the best junior league in the world.
Yeah, it is.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And so you definitely got to earn it. So anyways, you did. Man, let's kind of hop into it now. Let's kind of talk a little OHL. You guys had a great team your year.
Yeah.
The first year, right?
Amazing.
You guys
team,
ended up doing well throughout the year, and then you guys going to playoffs. How was that for you, going to your first OHL playoffs?
Yeah, that was something else. I mean, the guys, like I said, there were so many guys on the team that were already drafted in the NHL, and Jesse Blacker, he was a Leaf guy there for a bit. Yeah. Had like 5 other guys, but it was amazing just to be able to see them in practice and learn from them every day. You're at the rink every day, right? So you get to take something in from them. But we ended up, we won it all that year. I'm sorry if I'm taking away from your guys.
No, we want to
hear
explaining
the story here. Yeah.
But, so how'd you guys win it all here? Let's kind of. Can we dive into it a bit, kid? What happened in that final game here?
Jumping right to the final.
Yeah.
I was in the right spot at the right time, and I scored a terrible goal. No, I whacked. Yeah, it was my first multi-goal game I think that year.
What happened?
It was game 7 against Mississauga.
Game 7.
Yeah,
right? Beautiful.
Fourth last round. Sorry, to win the OHL Cup.
Yep.
And it was an OT, like 3 minutes in. And I'm just surprised, honestly, that I was out on the ice. They don't have much. You guys know, like as rookies, they don't have as much faith in you as the coaches.
Yeah.
And I mean, rightly so. They got older guys that they rely on.
But we're talking.
I'll even tell you, like now, not even at that level. I can't imagine being like the pressure at that level and the money those guys are making and stuff. But sometimes, like I'm coaching these guys at U18 level, and I'm like, I want to put this guy on the ice, but can I trust him at this time? You know, but that's unreal that your coach trusted you in the OHL to put you on the ice in overtime of Game 7.
That's the part about like we're talking about earning your stripes. So I think you like, and earlier I was talking about your work ethic and whatnot. And I guarantee you put that time in throughout the year.
Yeah,
kind of gave that coach like, you know what, I can trust him on the ice.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then he did, and you ended up. What happened?
Yeah. Well, actually, I put her in and we won, but it was good.
You scored a tire too.
I think I might have been the tire. Yeah, the tire. I was playing with 2 overage guys on my line. I mean, 2 21-year-olds, so it was pretty sweet. Yeah, it was nice. It was cool. But I mean, as far as that's first season. Just like I said, trying to grow in your confidence and all that. Yeah. I think the big one for me was, I know I told you guys before we started this, but I tore my psoas or my hip flexor.
Okay.
And I missed 20 games. So how it works is when you miss a game, they're like, they still want you in the stands taking stats and doing stuff, keep your mind active. Yeah. And I actually truly believe that was like night and day for me to actually see the game and actually pick it up. Because when you're on the ice, you're either like huffing and puffing on the bench and you're not watching the play, or you're out there and you only see so many things. But when you're actually like in the stands watching the plays develop, I came back and I was actually like a different player. And I remember coach saying like, what the heck happened to you? I'm like, I just kind of studied the roots more and understood the game. It's a bit quicker and like where plays are happening. Yeah, it was neat.
Yeah, I honestly can attest to that. I played at the NCAA Division III level, and as a freshman, got in a couple games early, whatever, and you're in and out of the lineup. And then, as you find yourself out of the lineup a few times, watching more from up top, you find yourself getting more comfortable, which is weird. So, as young players out there, if you're listening, sometimes take those times if you get sat down as constructive times and learn from it. Learn from up top and actually take the game in and instead of just shutting down and going in your phone and texting mom and dad being pissed off because you're not playing. Take something from the game and actually learn and see what your coach or whoever is trying to whatever message they're trying to send. Because, like you said, there's a lot to be learned. I know you did from an injury perspective a little different, but
if you're healthy scratch, still do the same thing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Even I was told when I was younger from a college coach that even just watching the game on TV,
Yeah.
man, don't just watch watch the game because you love hockey, but like take stuff in from it.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the guys playing your position. Look what they're doing. Look
Yeah.
how they're skating. Look how they're getting into positions. Right.
Yeah.
That's just the way. If you love the game, you're gonna want to do it.
Yep. So that's awesome. Then moving into your next year, how'd you feel? After you obviously had the injury, missed some games, but strong finish to the year, multi-goal game. You said it was your first multi-goal game in the O.
Yeah, the one there at the end there when we won it. Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
so
playoffs.
that's awesome.
It was the first one.
So then moving into next year, you had to.
Oh
feel,
no! Didn't you end up going to after the OHL Cup? What happens after that? Is that it?
We had we did the OHL Cup,
Oh, you
and
were the
actually
Mem,
then it
right?
was the NHL. They had the Combine, which is like a
Well,
month after.
If you win the OHL
the
Cup, do you go to
yeah.
the Mem?
Yeah.
How was that?
Oh, you're talking about the Mem. Yeah, it was good.
Let's talk about the Mem. Sorry to cut you off,
Yeah.
there,
yeah,
Chris.
no problem.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the Mem there.
Yeah, I guess I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah.
that thing.
That's
that
a
was
huge.
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
How many people get
Well,
to
they
play
didn't
in
win
that?
it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't win it yet, but how many people
That's
get to
okay.
play in that?
Yeah.
Holy,
Oh,
how
that
was that?
that was
experience?
sweet, and it was like it felt like it was your hometown, right, Mississauga. So we were playing.
Oh
at the
yeah,
Hershey.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's pretty
That's
sweet.
awesome.
You got St. John Sea Dogs coming in. That's Huberdeau. Who was the other guy? Bully. I don't know if Bulio played on them. Remember Yarko? He went first round of the NHL.
I think so,
JURCO.
yeah.
I don't know, but they had like 4 first rounders. So it was
Yeah.
just playing against those guys. I mean, what an environment. It was pretty neat.
That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, dude, that's sweet. So rolling into next year, then obviously after finishing pretty strong, you must have felt confident heading into your second year in the O, and obviously that's the year before your draft year, a pretty big year.
Yeah. So that summer was a pretty busy one. After we went all the way with the Mem, I was pretty beat up. I still had issues with my psoas or hip flexor.
Yeah.
So I remember from there. Then we had I got some time off and relaxed. But then I think it was the U18s that summer, I think, with Canada. So I went and did that, and actually watching him out here, Riley was on our team, which was pretty sweet.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Played with
awesome.
those guys. So it was amazing. Yeah, we beat Sweden in Sweden in the final,
Yeah.
and we won all, which was cool. So I mean, you do that and you start growing your confidence, and you go into the second year thinking like, okay, this is finally my shot. And
Yeah.
I think I actually went in overconfident, and it's funny because then it reversed. I actually had a worse start my second year because I think I went in like, oh, I'm going to be the big guy now, and like,
Yeah.
overconfident, and all of a sudden you're like, oh smokes, like you get knocked down a few notches and realize, okay, I got to actually, get my mindset here and put in the work again, and it's not just
Yeah.
going to come. But I was getting PP finally. I was doing some other things, and I wasn't used to those systems because I didn't play it. My first year, I was just 5-on-5.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of new learning curves, like how to work, the half wall or when you're in power play and all these new things. So, I mean, it took me a bit to, like I said, I think it was like 10 games where I finally adjusted to the bigger role. But it was cool, yeah. The NHL draft year, a lot of pressure. I'll talk about it a bit more, but like just knowing NHL scouts are watching you and getting in your own head, like that's a whole nother,
Yeah.
whole nother level of trying to perform. So, yeah, it was cool.
Well, yeah. Let's kind of dive into that then.
Yeah, talk about it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So like you finish off great. You're kind of recovering, and then now you're hopping into your draft. Like you're saying, you got all the scouts looking at you. What's going on with that?
Yeah, no, I mean you go to games and like they have to sign in like to the list of like who's there. So you'll hear before the game like, oh, Tampa Bay Lightning's NHL scouts here, and like there'll be like 10 scouts when you're playing the London Knights.
Yeah.
And like you're just a young kid, and you feel like it's like the end of the world. Like, don't get me wrong, it's important, but like I put too much pressure on myself to like
When
I
you
can't
make a
mess up.
mistake,
I can't
yeah.
mess up. And then you play tighter. I mean, this is like the coaching side of stuff, so I know you have probably some younger kids, like the audience on here, which is good for them to hear. But like you grip your stick more, and like you start getting tighter and nervous, and like that's why I started playing bad to start the year. I think I had like a false confidence, and then I was too hard on myself and putting pressure on my game. And
Yeah.
then I think once you realize it's the game of hockey, just keep doing what you're doing, and then started coming on from there. But it was a neat year.
Yeah.
A lot of pressure.
Yeah, I think when you put some pressure on yourself, it takes the fun away a little bit,
Yeah.
and it's still got to be fun, of course. Obviously, at the NHL though is the business, right? It's a big deal. So I mean, of course, the pressure's natural, and it's dealing with those pressures and leaning on the right people and all those kinds of things. But that you had a tough injury.
Yeah.
That's the elephant in the room right now.
Yeah, I think
So-
a lot of people know about it.
Hey,
and I think
I'm happy to talk about
you
it.
want-
Yeah.
let's- you
Oh,
want-
I love. Yeah,
Maidens, we're gonna give you the floor
Let's
here.
do it.
Let's kind of break it down, man.
Yeah.
What happened, and moving forward, maybe throughout the year, what happened there?
Yeah, I mean, I missed 20 games my first year. That hip flexor I tore. I'm like, okay, sweet, I'm done with injuries.
Yeah.
Don't have to deal with those anymore. And then, what do you know, 28 games in, I go and I take a weird knee to my head, kind of falling over. You know when you lose an edge, you go to cut hard.
Yeah, yeah.
And the guy was coming to just lay his body into me, but I think he realized I was already kind of falling down, so he went to go leap over me, and his knee just crushed in the top of my head. And I remember that like goose egg feeling you get, where it's like, oh man, like that got me pretty good. And
Yeah.
I went for the next shift. I immediately turned around, came in, puked on the bench because I was nauseous.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, maybe I'm just sick. I have a bit of a flu. Played the rest of the game out just feeling weird, and then the next day I woke up and like dizzy, like couldn't concentrate, went to school, couldn't even look at the board. I'm like, what the heck's going on? And a week later I find out that I did have some concussion stuff after I went through and did the testing. So I mean, boom, right there, that's a huge pause in your NHL draft year. 28 games.
Yeah, man,
into
that's crazy. So then now at this point you're going to the doctor, right? What are they telling you?
I mean, at that point, it was still very early, so I think Crosby was going through his thing at the time, so he was kind of like the new light shining onto the NHL and the sports, the hockey world with concussions. But yeah, I went to see some neurologists, some people who were giving suggestions. I mean, back then it was stay in your room and don't do anything until you feel magically better. Now it's like do nothing for 48 hours, and you should start actually being active and engaging your mind a bit to like what you can handle. But you can imagine me sitting out for a full year doing nothing because I was waiting to feel symptom free, which I couldn't get. And then, from there I tried to get back, and it just made things a lot tougher. So I wish maybe I had a little bit different guidance, but it was new to the sports world, concussions. But it was tough. Yeah. It was really hard trying to, because I think I had it was a top prospects game. So the Cherry versus Orr, and I was supposed to play in it, and they came to my rink in Owen Sound, one of the guys, and like, what's going on? Are you good to play? And I was like, I still don't feel good. So just having to miss out on those opportunities and like the top prospects game, and it sucked. Yeah, it's tough. Yeah.
No, absolutely. So like now, like we'll get into kind of, if you want to kind of get into concussions, what's your mindset like going through this? What are you thinking? Like you're an active dude, man. I can't imagine you being locked up in your room.
Yeah, I mean, what helped me, and like I have a ton of respect for guys who have serious like health issues where they know right on the spot, like have a heart condition, like your career's done.
Yep.
For me, at least, I had that blessing of like, okay, I'm going to be back in a week. I'm going to be back in 2 weeks. I'm going to be back in a month. So that kind of like gave me hope through the process. Okay. But it just dragged on, and eventually started wearing on me probably months into it. And I'm like, what's going on here? Like, am I making these symptoms up? And, so it's a lot of headaches, nausea, all that thing. I saw tons of people, tons of doctors for treatment. Yeah. Eventually found some stuff that worked for me. But to this day, like I still get some headaches that stick around quite a bit. Yeah, like I was telling you before, I'm still doing treatment for those. Yeah. But yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard.
It's a long road, dude. It's a long road. So you end up missing the whole year, and so you're going now like entry level jobs coming out for the NHL. Yep. How you feeling about that?
I'm very, very unsure. I mean, just 28 games into the NHL draft year is pretty tough. I mean, I'm thankful I had a good year before that. We got a huge run, so I got a lot of exposure that way. But basically, my agency said, listen, like, go to the draft, enjoy it. You worked hard your whole life to be here. Have the mindset of you get drafted, you get drafted. If you don't, then you don't. Don't let it kind of get you down. There's still a lot of time after to get back. But yeah, that's kind of the way I went into it. And it was in Pittsburgh that year at the new rink. And nice. It was pretty a pretty neat arena there that they just built brand new. But obviously they have the first day is the big day with the first round stuff. And I remember just that kind of hit me hard because I remember having to sit in a bar or a restaurant and watch the first day happen on TV, which I was really hoping that, because I think they had me, not trying to pump my own tires.
No, we want to hear it. We want to hear it.
They had me, I forget what the rank was, but I was hoping to go first round that year. They had me rated up pretty high there when I was healthy. Yeah. And then to slip down and not know if I was going to get drafted and watch all those guys kind of, be at that first day going up on the big stage. It was hard. But then again, I just had to remind myself, I'm here. I'm going to get a chance to get drafted. And, the next day, third round, Ottawa took me there, so 82nd overall. And instantly once that happened, I thought of all my family, because I have a bunch of family in Ottawa. Yep. I was like, oh, this is pretty sweet. Canadian team really hits home. And still got to walk down and meet them all at the floor there. All the teams had like their tables set up. Yeah, so you still got a jersey and do all. Yeah, it was amazing. And that's where the picture that you guys have on there with the little interview after when you get your jersey and you're just kind of just a young kid nervous.
What was that like?
It was weird. I mean, you get your jersey, you go into a back room, you start doing these weird poses with the stick. They give you like and it's like, I'm no superstar here. Why am I modeling photos? It's funny. It's like
I always thought that was weird. The pictures that they forced him to take right away.
The stick pointed out and whatnot.
Looking down looking down.
Funny.
Oh, that's
amazing. Cool.
That's amazing, man. It kind of gave me chills there. Like, you're still dealing with your concussions at this time too.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I'm sitting in the stands. Yeah, still feeling some symptoms.
Yeah, absolutely. So now
So you're not symptom free yet. You said you were waiting around that full year to feel no symptoms.
Yeah.
But even to this day, you're not symptom free, are you?
The headaches are still there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just crazy. So you're dealing with that. You get drafted. Now, obviously, what's that like now? Trying to prepare yourself, because obviously trying to get back to playing is one thing, but now you've been drafted, so that's a feather in your cap. It's unbelievable moving forward. Now, how are you trying to prepare yourself? How are you trying to get through this moving forward? Like you said, it's a new thing. There's new protocols.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, still a lot of doubt in your mind. When am I going to get back? It's been how many months leading up to it. I'm like, why am I not feeling healthy now? So you kind of get discouraged a bit. But like I said, you just try to keep a little bit of hope and keep pushing forwards. But yeah, there's uncertainty of like what's gonna happen. When am I gonna get back? At that point I started worrying more about my health in general. It was always like, I got to get back. When am I gonna get back? And then it's like, okay, what's going on here? How's my health? Like, then you start kind of playing with yourself in your mind that way, like, dealing with all that stuff. So then I went to Ottawa Took Me, and then thankfully, like, they were actually an amazing organization that way, where their doctors brought me in. I was going there during the summers when they had development camps, and I was living up there at one point during the lockdown when the NHL had that one going on, and the doctors were working with me. I was getting treatment every day at the rink. So I'm so thankful that they stepped up and actually tried to do something for me, because I've heard horror stories of guys where like they get drafted and it's like, come see us when you're healthy. But like, if you're investing in the guys and your draft picks, you should be putting in what you can to help them out.
It's a testament to your talent too, and not to say that they wouldn't do it for other guys as well, but it is a testament to your talent, man. And I will say this, growing up, and it's tough too. I feel awkward, obviously, when I receive compliments, but just to sit here with you, man, like, you were unbelievable growing up, and it's a real testament that Ottawa put that time and effort into you, right? Knowing your condition too, and nice of them to step up to the plate to try and get you healthy, right?
Yeah,
it's cool.
Exactly. Thank you, appreciate it.
Absolutely. I think a guy just retreats back to the skill talent was born with it, God-given talent, but the work ethic the guy puts in, like, it's noticeable. It's absolutely noticeable, and it's incredible. So I all praises to you, man. But so you're going into camp. Did you end up going to camp, dude? Did you stay in the development camp kind of stages, or like what was going on?
I went to the camps in the summer. I mean, I was in contact yet, so I got to skate with some cool guys. So Mark Stone had his broken wrist at the time there, so I was skating on the ice before practices with him, and that guy was something else. Like, his skating's not the greatest. So you see him like, who's this guy? And then he gets a puck on his stick, and he's like just picking pucks off you and dangling you, like he's the smarts than that guy. It was pretty neat. But being in the room because there was a lockdown, the season wasn't going on, so they had the time to actually have me there. So you got to see, like, you'd be walking around the room, Carlson, you got Spezza, all these different guys. You're just kind of like shocked. Like, you see all these guys that you look up to your whole life, and it's like, holy smokes. And then you realize they're just average dudes, like they're same as you. So it's kind of cool to see that side of things. You see them on TV all the time in the spotlight, but it's like they're just like us hanging around right now, buddies, just shooting the
That's
coffee.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You were telling us before too. You gotta maybe just lay this story down a little bit. You talked about Spezza's laugh.
Yeah, hopefully he's not a follower of you guys, and here's me chirping now.
We'll get him on.
No, because you search it on YouTube, you hear his pretty corny laugh there, and you can't help but to laugh at it. So I remember hearing it before I went up to the camp, and I came into the rink, and he said something about the weather or something outside, and he started giggling and did that laugh, and I remember, like, I started smirking and had to turn around so I wasn't laughing in his face. I mean, this is a superstar in the NHL, but it was just so funny to see. Yeah, I mean, he's still playing for the Leafs, lighting it up, fake clappers. But so that was a funny story.
That's cool, man.
But yeah, it was really neat.
Very cool. So yeah, you're in camp. You're seeing some of these big faces, hanging out with them, just like some of the boys. That's got to be a real cool experience. And were they cool to you too, like receptive, and like, sometimes you hear guys are like, they're into rookies or they treat them a little differently. But you're a young guy, draft pick. You got a different situation. Injuries, all these things. Skating with Stone on like injury practices or whatever's going on. Were the guys cool and receptive and just like good guys about everything?
Yeah. They obviously I wasn't in the true setting of being a guy on the actual roster, but from what I saw, like I respected the way the guys were. You come in and they, make you feel like you're part of the team, even though you're not really yet. And I think at that level, it's nice because guys are more mature and they're more adults. Where you play in junior, you got a bunch of young kids that are still trying to find their way and trying to be the big guy. And these guys they just know some guys are dads, right? They have families and they're trying to be leaders to you. So I found it was nice there at that level and just seeing their work ethic and how they did stuff. So it was an amazing opportunity.
That's very cool,
That's
man.
unbelievable. So you end up let's kind of continue with this now. You end up kind of going through camp. You're still fighting the concussion.
Yeah. I'm still I'm working with the doctors and then going out for a skate and then coming off and trying to get more treatment, see where I'm at symptom wise or wearing a heart rate monitor. So I'm just we don't want him on contact yet, and I kind of made that decision as well. I'm I don't really want to be getting banged around yet if I'm getting these symptoms. So that's what we were doing.
So at what point was it that, now moving through, you're trying to get back to the OHL? Did you ever end up getting back to play any games in the O?
Well, what happened was, I think it was 2 years after the injury, I said, you know what, screw it, I'm going to start training in the summer, did all my normal routine, working through my headaches. This is what it is, maybe I gotta suck it up.
Yep.
Went back to the Owen Sound for my camp 2 years after it. I mean, I had a ton of rust on my my skates. I mean, I wasn't training properly either, still kind of, being careful that I'm not going to hurt myself when I was doing weights and all that, but I did not feel myself. I was having headaches for, I remember one was 9 hours straight that day during the camp because you're on the ice 2 games in a day, you're doing fitness testing, and I remember having a pounding headache, and 2 days in, I remember talking to my parents, I'm I got to go talk to the GM. They don't know I'm still dealing with this. Yeah. I can't do it, and I remember just breaking down. I'm not a guy that cries, but I was just broke down crying, talking to the GM, called my agency after. I'm I don't know what to do. Is this the end? I'm not sure. And it just that's when it kind of hit me. Yeah. And I had a dark pit on my stomach. When I went home and sat on I remember laying on my grandma's couch. And I'm what the heck am I gonna do? This is what I poured my life into. I don't know what else I'm good at. I'm not a scholar. I'm not. So that was kind of it was tough. That's when I realized I think I might be done. Yeah.
It's gut wrenching, honestly, just sitting here looking at you tell the story. But man, a lot of guys wouldn't have been able to go through something like that, losing that to an injury, but just you're a great guy. You've always been such a great guy around the rinks and so humble and just that had to help you through everything too, man. Just who you are and help you get through that and and deciding to move on from hockey and so now going through that, you said you had to go home and kind of make that decision. So how did you make that jump, or how did you make that transition, I guess, and what are you doing now? Let's talk about that.
I mean, the transition was really tough, and I'm not a guy that tries to get crazy preachy or anything, but my faith was huge for me, having that mindset to be able to get through it and know that there was more to life than just the game itself. So I mean, that really helped me. I grew a lot more in that faith as being a Christian and knowing that there's greater plans for me. I mean, awesome, it was, everyone has kind of things they go through in life and helps direct them and find their ways, and for me that was that. And it was there's got to be more to the game, which there is, right? You have life after hockey, and I ended up speaking with, so it's Hockey Ministries International, and they do the chapels for junior B, junior hockey, NHL. And I got connected with them and was able to speak out about that and how it helped me through. And that was huge for my just transitioning out of the game. I had a lot of people speaking in my life, pastors, just leaders and role models in my life, and just say, you know what, we've been there. People had similar things and just walked me through it. And I think that's huge to have people like that, let alone also your family and friends, right? So, I mean, that's the true stuff that matters when you come home to a good family and good friends around you.
100%.
I mean,
so that's the important stuff.
Yeah,
100%.
So. And then, got back into school. So,
what are you taking in school?
I did sport management. I think that's every hockey guy's thing to do. They finish their hockey. Yeah, I'm going to go do SPEMA at Brock. No, that's what I did. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I honestly, like I said, when you have that feeling of holy smokes, hockey's done. What am I good at? What do I want to do? Hockey's my only passion. And I'm well, let's go into a sports business. So I did SPEMA, and I'm thankful that OHL covered schooling stuff, which is sweet. Did that, graduated, still had no clue what I was going to do with it. So, and then I got connected to the osteopathy, studying to be an osteopath, which I'm 2 years in. I got 2 more years left, and that's what I was kind of saying to you before with it all.
Yeah, because I remember I'd asked you just before too. Did you get interested in that stuff kind of through your injuries, because you were explaining to me kind of what it is, and I guess for some of the listeners that don't know, I guess what osteopathy is, could you explain it and just kind of tell us about it?
Yeah, so everyone kind of sees it dealing with bones, which it is. So it's bones, it's also joints, tissues, muscles, basically all fascia or all layers of the body. You know, you have fascia as well that kind of outlines all your muscles and stuff. So, I mean, people dealing with pain, nerve issues, drainage issues with blood. So we deal a lot with all that, and it's just sees the body as a holistic kind of approach that, you know, the back's not just the back, but it's affected by other things in your posture. And that was huge for me because as an athlete, you see the body as a whole mechanical unit, and not one thing's just by itself. Everything works together. So I love the approach that they have. And the guy, it's actually funny, the guy who started the program 20 years ago, who owns the school, he originally treated me while I was trying to get back to hockey, because I had a friend in the program, and she said, I got this guy runs my school, he's amazing, and he wants to actually treat you in front of the class and do some stuff, which I was crazy thankful for.
Wow,
I would go there, and he'd use me as kind of like the guinea pig to try and heal me up and get me better. And like I thought hockey, I was going to get back to that. So I was at the school, thought nothing of it. Turns out I end up, you know, after the career is done, I reach out to them and find a way to get into study. And I've been loving it. It's actually the first time I've enjoyed something since the game of hockey. Everything's just kind of walking through, you know, the flow of stuff and just going through life. But this is like giving me purpose again, which has been amazing.
Good for you.
That's insane, man.
It's great to hear.
Yeah.
It's amazing that as much as hockey was so important and such a, you know, main focus, this injury that, you know, devastated that has turned into something else. So it's literally finding the silver lining and making lemonade out of lemons. Honestly, as cheesy as that sounds, man, but good for you, and that's incredible because you'll be able to help other people that have gone through, you know, that are going through similar things, and it's unreal, right?
Exactly.
Just being able to give back, and you give back in the hockey community. I know that.
Yeah,
we'll plug that too. You know, do some development and stuff.
Yeah. So how's that? What are you doing? What are you doing now, man? Let's get into it, man. Like I haven't seen it in a little bit. You came and stole my position in hardball when you decided to come. You bastard. But no, we had a good time, man. We played a little hardball together. We won a couple of championships in hockey. What are you doing now, bro?
You want to know what I'm doing? Yeah. I'm saving the world on Call of Duty Warzone, buddy.
Come on.
and
dodging my golf balls, eh?
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a sec. So in January, I'm playing golf. I don't know why I'm playing golf in January.
We're at Queenston.
I'm at Queenston, of course. I see you in McLean there behind us. I'm on the par 4. Was it 280 yards? We'll say it's 300 to make you look good.
Yeah, 320.
I'm putting on the green, and I see a ball fly past my feet, and I immediately like, who the hell is this idiot? I look back at the tee, and it's cringy, like, sorry, mates. Hopefully you birdied that hole at least. But,
no.
Four
Easy.
putt, quick four putt.
Quick. Hey, bogey golf's my kind of golf, boys. What do you want? You know what I mean? But no, that's great, man. Hey, you know what? We kind of, I guess, other than that, what else are you doing, man?
The schooling, a huge thing, and then the hockey schools as well. So, like I said, doing the coaching and training side of stuff. Nice. I love it. I mean, it took me a while. I mean, sure you guys can attest to this, but actually having to coach and relay that information that you had to now kids. Yeah. And it took me a while to figure that out because you're so used to just being told what to do and understanding it, but then you have to break it down in your mind and understand who you're working with, and so that's a whole nother level of the game. And it's been sweet doing the Maidens hockey development.
Deconstruction, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just working my way into kind of getting into the coaching and helping develop the kids with Carson's advisory and help, and it's kind of tough for me, man. So, but like you kind of find it a little easier, Carson. How do you do it? Like, what's going on? With
you
that?
talk to us about this. I need some tips
seriously.
here.
Like,
I feel like I struggle more.
Did you struggle with it a little bit?
Quite honestly, man, for me, I watched my dad doing it. You know, my whole life. My dad's a very good coach. My dad's good on his feet. You know, and like I said, one of my biggest assets was you know, my head when I played. So for me, deconstructing the game was tough at first and trying to break things down. But for me, I find it actually difficult to teach individual skills. I'm bad at teaching kids how to skate. But I can teach hockey. I can teach the game. I can teach certain things. It's just the deconstruction of like the plays and all that. It's weird because the transition from playing to coaching, when you're playing, you're adding all these things to your game. You're constructing and you know, reading and understanding what your coach wants from you, but having to deconstruct the game and break it down to how you want things to happen for your team and for your players, it's definitely different. It's not unconventional. What's the word I'm looking for?
It's a switch.
Not familiar. It's unfamiliar.
Okay.
It's unfamiliar as a player going to a coach for sure. But I find it, you know, amazing. Really, like once you can deconstruct it, and when you teach kids something and you see them translating and you see them doing it and you see them improving, it's incredible.
It's like a thrill.
You're gonna
it's a thrill. Yeah. It's actually like more fulfilling sometimes than when you improve yourself, because it's like, holy smokes, like I helped someone improve a little game, and you see the thankfulness in them, or even their parents, and it's like, that's sweet. I had, obviously it's them putting in the work. You're just trying to give them little tidbits and things they can work on. But yeah, it's neat.
Yeah.
Man, it's such a touch on the game, and like for us to kind of pass down our knowledge, at least what we think we know, and like what kind of got us where we are, and to pass that down and see the kids love and enjoy it, and like I just love being out there and love seeing them being out there and love the game. I think that's my favorite part about it.
You know what the best thing about coaching is, I think? You don't have to know everything to be a great coach.
No.
Okay? Because, like, from any coach, if you want to coach at a certain level, if you're coaching at the NHL level, yeah, you should have a good grip on everything.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to develop kids and trying to just, like, give back to the game, teach them what you know. Teach the best thing if you're on the ice with the kid, because, what I teach all my guys is to take the best and leave the rest. We talk about that all the time, right? So take the best from every coach you learn and add to your game, right? Like we're talking about.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, exactly.
Anyways.
I mean, we should always be learning as well as coaches too, right? Sometimes we think that we have to know it all. No, we can admit that we don't know some stuff sometimes. We think we do, but I mean, we got to be constantly growing too, right? So to get better and help them.
You know what's crazy? Yeah. I admitted this today to Mike McDonald, actually. I seen him, from True
Oh,
Strike.
yeah, I love Mike.
So I seen Mikey in Port, and I was like, you know what? I learned so much from Instagram. I just save
follow
videos
everybody.
and like
That's me.
It's crazy, but honestly, man, it's such a good tool, and just to take little things, and I change drills up, because you don't want it to be verbatim, and you just add your own little wrinkles, and it's fun.
Oh,
it really is a great.
That's
time.
why I love posting stuff when I do some drills, because I'm like, I hope someone can take things that I've done. I mean, we should all be helping each other.
Man,
Exactly.
I take things that you post, a couple videos, and I've started doing them in my backyard and whatnot. It's incredible.
I got to get better with social media, but
Yeah.
getting there.
Oh, we all do.
Yeah, you know what? It's a great tool too. But at the end of the day, we're kind of digging into time right now, I think.
Yeah, we're getting a little later on here.
Yeah,
but
you know what, Maids? We kind of like to end it on a little lighter side. We got some great stories from you, some great insight for the listeners out there. And Willie Nylander just scored. And
Nice.
Give us the update. What's the score?
5-1 Leafs. Yeah, another good game. And he gave some great stories, some great info for the listeners out there about concussions and whatnot. It's a serious thing now, and we all got to be precautioned about it.
And if they want to reach out, anybody that has dealing with stuff, please, by all means.
We all have Instagram. We all have Facebook. We all will post.
And if you can't quite reach out to us, and we'll put you in contact.
Yeah, absolutely. We we're all not scared. We'll all answer, and we'll all post our social media stuff for you guys.
Yeah.
But Maids, let's kind of end on a lighter note here. You got any good war stories for us? Any fights you guys got into?
He's not a fighter.
Any fights? Yeah. I'm a lover, buddy.
I know, but you gotta have had a guy. You had Reimer Chuck with you. He kind of threw down a little bit.
He's my other bodyguard.
Yeah, he's my other bodyguard.
No, I had first year. Well, I had two. One doesn't really count, but I remember talking about fights. A guy smashed my teammate. So it's like one of those like unwritten rule where it's like when someone hits your teammate dirty, like who cares? You gotta go in there, or you look like an idiot, and you're gonna regret.
Yeah, you gotta get in there.
So I dropped.
Rule told us about that same kind of thing.
Anyways,
so it's like a 21-year-old guy on Sioux, and I actually did not too bad. I like to think I got the win, but they gave it a draw and drop your gloves.
Is there a video?
No, they took it off.
Oh, come on!
Yeah, if you search it, you'll see the ratings in the comments, but for some reason, like the copyright
there is no drop your gloves anymore.
Yeah, they took the videos off. I was gonna show my kids like that's.
Yeah, man. We gotta get some for the.
I just got the picture on the.
Okay, we'll get the picture. We need the picture. We need the picture.
I was missing my punch. No, but then that was the first one, which was a thrill. I think it was better than scoring a goal.
Yeah.
Like you're like, holy smoke! I just got in a fight for the first time.
It's insane, man! Fighting your first time is unbelievable.
Yeah, you're like adrenaline's going. And then the second time, I smashed Ryan Ellis on Windsor, and then Kenny Ryan, I think it was, stepped in. He's overage, like 240 pounds, and jumped me and started giving me a couple. And I think he realized, like, okay, this guy's young, and
silver medal.
I'm just gonna So he kind of took it, left it up, and went to the ground, and then I went to the box and got chirped by the fans in the stands. So
nice.
I mean, those are my only fight stories there.
Couple good war stories, though. I appreciate it. You know, Carson, I always appreciate the good war stories.
Oh, yeah.
I always appreciate good war stories.
It's funny that you say, though, like, just after your first fight, like, you don't sleep.
No, you don't.
Oh,
literally,
dude.
all night you're buzzing.
Oh,
and you're
man.
thinking about next game if you can fight again. It's so
no
stupid.
idea. I was all over him, man. Well, you would know. Like, I fucking chased Carson around a few times. And fucking you would know too, buddy.
It's like a false sense of like weird confidence. So like you feel like a tough guy, and then like someone's gonna punch you up, bring you back down to earth
dude,
again.
So, like it happens. But like I kind of learned growing up. Like after my first few, I got into 25 tilts. Right? You go in like. it's either gonna happen or it's not. You know what I mean? Like, so you go away, you start throwing bombs, and if you get touched up, you get touched up. If not, you know what, you did well. But either way, you got to go in.
You got to show up.
Yeah, you got to show up
Yeah.
or shut up at the end of the day. And I love showing up. So Maids, you should.
Yeah,
Seems
it's
like
fun.
you did too.
It's good. You go to the. I remember being all happy about it. I went to the room like, yeah, I'm the man. And like we lost 5-2, and my trainer's like, "Mate, sit the hell down. You just lost the game."
That's
So I'm like, all right. Yeah.
I gave the belt one time.
Yeah.
There was one time I skated by, I gave the belt, and I felt like a beauty, and then I got reamed out by everybody in the room after. But you know, that's
funny.
hilarious.
It's hockey.
But
Yeah,
Maids,
dude.
you know what? I think I love having you on here. We got to have you on again. I
Yeah,
say it to a lot of guests, and I
Yeah.
mean it. But man, like we got to get you back on here. We
Yeah,
have more stories. We
sure.
go a long way.
Some
we can
baseball
sit for
stories of
hours.
Vito.
Oh
Yeah, we'll talk about
Jesus!
those. Yeah.
How many
Thanks for
bats?
having me.
How many
though.
bats I zipped?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, buddy.
Well,
We'll have to start the baseball podcast.
Yeah. Big Vito wants that to start, eh?
Yeah.
Big Vito wants that. Yeah.
Shout
So,
out Big Veets.
Shout out Big Veets.
But,
We're gonna get him on too. Yep. But
Yeah, thanks for coming on. Honestly, Maids, you know, I don't know if we've ever actually sat down for this long and talked to each other, man. Like we've known each other for years and years and years, but
Yeah.
never sat down and had like a real conversation like this. So it's been nice just
been
to
great, man.
sit down and get to know you even a little more than we already do. So thanks for coming on. I
yeah,
appreciate
thanks for
it.
having me. And just, you guys are awesome too, and I love what you're doing. I mean, as soon as you guys asked me to do this, I was, felt honored, and like I said, I love you guys and what you're doing, so I'm happy to help friends whenever I can, and keep doing what you guys got going on. It's sweet. And
Awesome, man.
I
Thank you.
love
Say hi
Thank
to your
you.
family
Appreciate-
for
yeah.
us. We love you guys.
Yeah.
And thanks for coming on, man. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sounds good. Peace.
Oh man, what an episode, Cars. What a great guy Jarrod is, and what an honor to have him on our show. Huh?
Yeah, we got Keon knocking his head off the table over here. Hopefully everybody heard that.
He's doing pretty Keon.
Awesome time talking to Jarrod. I think I mentioned in the episode, I didn't know him too well. I knew him, a lot of guys that we've had on actually, I've known just from being around, but haven't actually ever really sat down and had the real conversations with them, and a lot of great guys. Our local area is full of great hockey players and great people, and it's amazing just to be able to have these conversations and talk about their experiences and what they've been through, and the fact they're willing to share that with essentially not the world listens to us, but to share it with the world and publicly is amazing, and we appreciate it.
No, absolutely, and it's just like I said, it's an honor to have these guys on, and like you stated, you took the words right out of my mouth. They're expressing their whole lives to the world, and they don't need to, and it's great for us, and it's great for everybody to get their insights. And once again, we want to thank Jarrod for coming on. Jarrod was a great guest. We're gonna get him on for sure. I've known Jarrod forever, and he's got such a hockey background that needs to be shared, and he's just a great hockey mind and great person to have around.
Absolutely. So, we've mentioned before, we appreciate all the love and support so far, guys. Keep listening. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Check out our Instagram, GM32_ the hockey podcast. We got some interesting videos and clips going up there of our guests and all that. So it's been lots of fun so far, and we appreciate the support.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys very much, and you all have a good night now.
I'm Carson Johnstone.
And I'm Vito Scaringi, and we got one question for you.
Can you feel